Brian Marshall of VNet joins us now for this week's edition of Technology Now. We're focusing on back to school and student tech tips.
Yeah, so we thought, I was driving in today, I was hitting the school zones, and my kids are back to school, many of your viewers' kids are back to school, so we thought it might be good to talk about, with school comes the technology is back, right? In most cases, the school is providing them with technology, but all of our research is done online. Everything is done online. So we want to talk about being safe and make sure that they're doing it the right ways.
Okay, what are some great tips?
So the first thing is really watch what they're consuming online. It's really important to have good conversations with your kids. I think a big mistake is to think that, the technology will just take care of itself. And what the school is assigned is probably fine. In that Chromebook, they got it. What bad thing could possibly happen, right?
Yeah.
That's not really where we want to behave. We want to be asking them what they're looking for. We want to remind them that everything that they see on their computers isn't necessarily true, right? Where they're looking, what they're doing, and making sure that, they've got the good password behavior and all the things that we would normally talk about.
Right. I think a really good rule of thumb is to take the phones and the computers out of the bedroom at night and charge them elsewhere, maybe in the kitchen. But yet it's so hard with these kids today because they are so addicted to these phones and having them on them all the time.
Yeah, addicted is one word, and it's probably not a bad word to say either, but I'll say they're connected, right? So because we're so well connected, it's really important that we try to get away from them being attached to that all the time and being so reliant on that technology. Some other really good tips, if they have VNet Fiber, that they're one of our fiber subscribers, our app actually allows you to put a kid in timeout. It actually allows you to say they're going to take a break from their technology. You can set, even with just their regular iOS device or their Android devices, the ones that you control that the school doesn't necessarily control, you can set amount of time that they have. Certainly there are third-party applications you can do with your other internet connections, but trying to limit the amount of time that they're spending online, again, they have to do their homework. I don't think my kid even has a book this year. Everything is done on the Chromebook. Everything is turned in that way. So limiting that screen time becomes a little more difficult.
It does.
But I don't want to limit the time he's spending on his physics homework. I would like to limit the amount of time that he's spending on necessarily, looking in other places online.
Right. And I like what you said, to talk with your kids about it, because there has to be that open line of dialogue constantly about where they're looking, what they're looking at. Is this real? What does this mean? You just have to be proactive about it today.
Yeah, you have to be talking to them because, the really bad side of this is the oversharing, right? We want to make sure that the kids they're online to do their homework and get work done. They could easily get themselves into a place where they start sharing about themselves, and now you think you're talking to another 13-year-old, but it turns out to be something way worse than that.
Maybe not.
And if you're not engaged in what's going on with them, that could easily turn into something that's tragic.
Yeah, and the passphrases, so important.
Yeah, making sure you're using good passwords, the MFA, that goes for your kids too, right? The things we talk about every week, we got to make sure they're doing that. No suspicious links. It's amazing how they'll get targeted with emails. I had my kid came to me with an email saying, they said I did all these bad things. I promise I didn't do any of these bad things. I said, well, of course you didn't, because I wouldn't let you do any of those bad things.
Right.
But it was tricky enough that they thought it was true. If you're not having open dialogues with your kids, they're going to fall victim to that, and it's going to be trouble.
Who knows what they're going to fall into. Some great tips. Welcome back to school, but keep an eye on them and keep talking to your kids about all the things that they're using with technology. Thanks, Brian.